Happy fall, happy October. Welcome to my October bullet journal setup. All right, so the backstory is for this whole year, I've been using three different journals. One I call my bullet journal or like a planner. The other one has been like a Dear Diary, morning pages, just free write brain dump lined journal. And then the other one was my first attempt at hand binding my own hardcover flat lay blank dot grid bullet journal. And this was kind of just like a journal I used for whatever. I used it for researching journaling, I used it for business and journaling ideas. And so those were the three journals, and it was working really well until it wasn't. And so last week I was journaling about it, and I was like, you know what, I just need a new bullet journal. And so I was actually going to order a Archer and Olive bullet journal for myself, but that would have taken a while to get here. These are the bullet journals I used to use before I started making my own. They are hardcover flat lay 160 GSM blank dot grid pages. And I realized that I had started making / hand binding my own hardcover flat lay bullet journal, and so I finished it this week. Here is my bullet journal that I'm going to use for the rest of the year. And so it is a blank bullet journal. You're going to see the inside of it, but I am going to show you how I set it up. And usually I would use this hardcover flat lay bullet journal for a full year, but because I'm incorporating all three things in one, I think I'll probably fill it out by the end of the year. So this is my Q3, October through December 2025 bullet journal. But let's go ahead and set up October and my first week in this bullet journal. So let's get to it. All right, here she is, my bullet journal. And then I literally just randomly grabbed a bunch of fall colors because it's October, it's fall, and we're excited about it. Okay, so when I start my bullet journal, I like to just put my name and the date that I plan on using the bullet journal for. I was pretty ambitious and just go ahead and put October to December because I was like, you know what, we're just gonna make it the rest of this year. And so yeah, this is my hand-bound bullet journal. I think I added a little bit too much glue, but anyways, we're good. So I'm really excited to just kind of talk you through what I decided to put at the beginning of my bullet journal, and then at a monthly level and a weekly level. So I like to divide my bullet journal up into kind of three parts. I call it the yearly part, the monthly part, and the weekly part. And so here is my year at a glance. But yeah, I'm going to talk you through what I chose to put at each spot, and then how I'm kind of combining those three journals together, which is just really fun for me. But this is what I do for people. Like this, just thinking back, is like the job I've created for myself. So I started a business a little over 2 years ago now. And what it's come to is I create custom bullet journals for people. And so I like to just kind of like hear what people are up to in their life, what they're passionate about, and create a bullet journal that is like aligned to them. And so you're going to get to see what I'm basically doing for myself in that way. So it's fun to just kind of see all those things. So here's what we did. We are starting with a year at a glance, which I always like to include at the beginning of a bullet journal. And so for this bullet journal, since I'm planning on only doing it for the rest of 2025, I only am going to include October, November, and December. So that's why I kind of sectioned off three parts here. And then at the bottom, I added a little part that says 2026. We'll see if I end up using that, but just like if anything comes up for 2026, then I can put that in there. So basically what a year at a glance is you're going to see me start to kind of label it, is I am going to put the dates for each month. So basically just think like when you pull up your calendar on your iPhone, like what dates do you see for each month? And then I like to use it as a spot to put down, honestly, like birthdays if you wanted to. I'm not really putting birthdays here. Actually, I should go back and add birthdays, but like just kind of put like calendar events, like vacations for sure, birthdays. And so you'll see me actually split the side next to the months into two sections. I wanted to be sure to include a spot for like to-dos or birthdays or like kind of agenda items. And then I also like to include my business kind of overview. In fact, this is like technically going to be a quarter 3 bullet journal. And so, yeah, I like to kind of map out what I want to happen in my business for the next 3 months, which actually takes a lot of work. I might as well kind of chat you through that while you're here. I am still trying to nail down the timing of custom bullet journals and like how long they take for the clients that I work with. It's usually about a month process, but it could be like 2 months depending on how much it is. In fact, it's probably more like 2 months. I need to, nail this timing down because that will help me know how many custom bullet journals I can do in a year or a quarter. And so that's kind of the plan, is to have like 1 to 2 customs per month. And then, sorry, excuse me, if you didn't already know this, I love hosting and throwing bullet journal parties. So that's the other thing I kind of want to do at a monthly level, is throw a bullet journal party, honestly, with someone. I've been having fun just kind of like co-hosting bullet journal parties with people. So again, these are just like kind of the things that I want to jot down for October, November, December. So like in the work section, I could kind of put down who the customs are going to be, who the bullet journal parties are going to be with. And then like my to-dos are coming up. I put to-dos, but I kind of wish I would have changed it to like my plans for those months. So anyways, that's my year at a glance. It's kind of small, I would say, because normally, like I said, my bullet journal is for the whole year. So normally I'm doing this for 12 months of the year, which actually takes a long time, right? Like writing out all those dates. But for this year, or for this bullet journal, it is just for those 3 months. Okay, so the next thing that I am setting up is my outside memories spread. So I've recently decided that for my mental health, just like the type of person I am in general, I love to be outside. And so there's like the 1,000 hours outside challenge, which could be really fun. And I've actually made a custom bullet journal for someone who tracks their hours every single day. And so I thought about doing that, like having a sort of outside hours tracker at the beginning of the year where I would write down how many hours I'm outside every day. But that didn't really, I don't know, I'm not really tied to that. So what I decided to do was put a little outside memories tracker. And so basically I just hope to write down like one fun thing we did outside that day for 3 months in this bullet journal. So like I drew 2 lines because it's going to be 1 spot for October, 1 spot for November, and 1 spot for December. And so that's just going to encourage me to do something fun outside every day, likely with my kids. We love to just like go to parks and, oh my gosh, see the fall colors right now. They are so fun. But then we also have like a little patio that I've just been spending time out there. Like I'll journal out there. I'll just let the kids kind of play out there. So I'm excited to see what outside memories I put in this tracker. So again, like at the beginning, this is actually it for like my 2 yearly spreads. I also like to put my vision board at the front of my bullet journal, and I didn't print it out yet because I kind of like I said, went a little crazy with the glue on this bullet journal. But these are just literally the 2 kind of yearly trackers that I have for my bullet journal. And so right now you're going to see me kind of just like add a few little doodles to my bullet journal because I just think that's fun. I don't consider myself super doodly or like artistic as like a drawer. Like I definitely think that bullet journaling is an art, but like not necessarily the doodles are what the artistry part of it is for me, if that makes sense. but I want to get better at it. So I'm just trying to challenge myself to kind of like add little doodles here and there to my bullet journal spreads. Yay! Okay, we are on to the monthly section. So here we go. I have, oh yeah. So these are some stickers from a little like activity Hobby Lobby purchase I bought for my kiddos. My 2-year-old son, he loves stickers, and so I went to Hobby Lobby at the beginning of fall and just went a little crazy on buying fall activities for them to do / me, right? It's all fun. And so here I am. This is the first page of kind of like the monthly setup. And so when I first started bullet journaling, I turned to YouTube, which is partly why I love YouTube. But anyways, turned to YouTube. I found my girl Amanda Rach Lee. If you don't know who that is, she is the ultimate bullet journal girly. And she is like an artist, I would say. Like, she always designs these super elaborate and beautiful, I mean, not always elaborate, but just like super cute, fun cover pages for each month. And so, like I said, I'm not really like someone who draws a ton of things, but I saw these stickers and I was like, this could be a cute cover page and kind of take me back to the buying stickers for my kids phase of life. So here is my cover page. I'm just using those stickers that I gave to my kids. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of adding the rest of these stickers, and then I kind of am left with this page to the left where I have some space to put another little something for the beginning of the month. So I like a 2-page monthly layout, so I know the next page is going to be my monthly layout, which you will see me set up. But for this page on the left, I decided to break it off into 2 sections. The top section is going to be my October rhythms, I'm calling it. So what is an October rhythm? Well, first of all, I had to definitely Google how to spell the word rhythm. I really do not have good spelling. But anyways, an October rhythm is inspired with a couple of different custom bullet journals I've done for a couple of friends, a couple of people. They have wanted to include an ideal week at the beginning of the month, which I love that idea, where like kind of each month, each season, like our kind of dailies and weekly calendars get changed. And so I didn't really want to full on set up an ideal week because I don't know, sometimes that just stresses me out a bit. But the October rhythms page, wow, it's already on to the next page. Sorry, I'll wrap this up quickly. But anyways, the October rhythms is just a spot to put. I love to think of like my daily rhythm, especially with like toddlers. You kind of have to have like a daily rhythm or you just go a little crazy. So like depending on the season, like what is my daily kind of rhythm. And then I also could put like, list out the days of the week and like what I would like to do each day of the week, or just like the October rhythms, right? Like what are we doing in October? What are we trying to incorporate into our lives? What are we folding in? That's what we're doing there. And then the other section was to-dos. Okay, now we are on to my monthly calendar setup. Okay, so this is when my inner math nerd / math teacher, I used to be a high school math teacher, comes out. If you can't already tell, I am counting out. These are 6x6 boxes for my monthly layout. And actually, I need to put this somewhere at the beginning of my bullet journal, but it's always nice to know how many dots across. And okay, so why, like the length in dots and the width in dots of your bullet journal pages. So for me, like the width of one page is 26 dots, and then the length, so like top to bottom, is 41 dots. And so I can kind of like, do some mental math there and figure out how many, boxes I would have for my monthly layout. So this is my monthly layout. It's a classic where I just have these 6x6 boxes. I do 7 across, right, for 7 days of the week, and then 5 down. I always do that for my month, and then, you know, some of the month before and after are going to be on it, but that's just how I do it. And then I also add usually the columns on the left. I think I made a mistake and it's on the right now, but I just always add like a column to kind of even it out, and that's usually where I'll put like goals or to-dos for the month. So normally at the top I'll just put October, but since I actually did an October like cover page, I didn't want to put October again at the top. So we last weekend watched Hocus Pocus. You know what? I had never seen that movie. I cannot believe that. Like, I really can't believe that. I loved it. Thought it was awesome. And, you know, I Put a Spell on You. The witches sing that song. Man, those witches are amazing. My kids watched it with me. They loved it. I didn't even realize Sarah Jessica Parker was in it too. That was kind of fun to see. Okay, so anyways, here we are. I'm labeling the top of the calendar layout. And so something interesting to know is that I like my monthly layout where Sunday is first and Saturday is last. And my weekly layout, I don't like it that way. I like Monday to be first and Sunday to be last. So just kind of weird about me. That's just like how I like it set up. And also, I don't know if you caught that, but I was drawing a witch hat on the side there, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to get like the buckle right. And I was like, what am I doing? I was drawing a pilgrim hat. So anyways, fixed that. Drew a witch hat in the corner. Again, simplest doodles ever. Anyone can do it. And so yeah, here we are. I am just adding in the dates, and I've put this in my Instagram a couple times, but like for some reason, I just love adding the dates to my bullet journal. I call it like the brain off side of bullet journaling, where you're just going in, putting in the dates. You don't have to think too hard about this. You're just literally probably pulling up your phone. I think I had it on my computer, the dates for October, and you're just filling it in. I'm not actually using the planner right now. My brain is off. Well, I guess my brain was on because I had to like count all the dots and stuff. But if you have a pre-made, undated custom bullet journal with me, you don't have to do that brain on side of calculating the dots and sizes, but you can go into it straight with brain off work of just adding the dates. And so, yeah, there we go. There's my October layout, and that's usually where I'll just, again, put kind of like any trips we have, any to-dos, appointments. I just like to have a month at a glance. All right, here we go. So that was it for the monthly. I just had the cover page and the little to-dos and October rhythms and the month at a glance. And so we're on to the weekly setup right now, which I'll talk through in a sec. First, I just wanted to show you the cute binding in the middle. It's like it actually matches the marker that I'm doing right there, but I hand bound this journal. I am so proud. If you want to see a video where I show you how to hand bind your own bullet journal, let me know in the comments. I'm way like newer to this, to hand binding a journal, than I am to like actually filling out a bullet journal, which is why I haven't quite, recorded that yet. I actually did sit down and record myself starting to make this one, but then I was like, I'm not really that good at it yet. And as you can see, it's not perfect. So I'm still working on mastering it, but if you want to see that, let me know in the comments. And then, yeah, let me just chat through. This is my favorite weekly layout. So this weekly layout came about, I guess you'd say, when I was a new mom. So I started bullet journaling right after I got married, and I had a lot of time to kind of practice and get good at it because I started in 2020, which was COVID, when I had a lot more time to like do things. And so my beginning bullet journals, well, the first one was like really just like what's going on here. But I would say my second one was like so fun. I like super got the hang of it. It was an Archer and Olive bullet journal, and I went like all out. I'm a Cricut girl, crafty girl. I really like decorated it, just I had a lot of fun with it. So then after I had my first daughter, I really didn't have as much time, but I also just like really wanted to figure out a way to incorporate kind of like the baby book aspect of having a daughter. I don't know, in my bullet journal, like first steps, when she walked, first words. I wanted to like figure out a way to do that. And how I did it was at the bottom of my weekly layout. And ever since my oldest daughter was about 3 months old, I took the bottom of my weekly layout and would journal about her each week. And then when I had my son, I added a spot for him. When I had my daughter, I added a spot for her. And so I've been journaling about all three of them, you know, pretty much since they were born. And I also have a little spot for myself at the bottom too. So that's my weekly layout, and we're just gonna flip back through all the pages that I set up today. And guys, I am so excited. My plan is going to be to just, after this weekly layout, normally I would just like wait and do another weekly layout for the next week, but I'm gonna like incorporate my journaling after that. So every day I'm gonna journal, and then once those days are up, I'll start my next week and journal again. So it's gonna be a lot of journaling in one, and I will let you know how it all goes. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will be sure to do a November and December update, bring you along for my 2026. So make sure you're subscribed to see those. And also remember that if you want a planner makeover with me, go ahead and watch my previous video. Subscribe, stick around. There's lots of fun journaling content coming out, and we'll see you next time. Bye.